versus Apollo. Now, you're going to talk us through the bans, Mr. Dillon.
So it's Oregon, it's what everyone expects. Thatcher Maverick, probably you're going to be the attackers of choice. Kaid and Mira are usually the defenders of choice. We'll have to see if any team are feeling a bit daring and go for something outside the normal 4. You know, we could see a clash, but as the occasional, why not? There is sometimes a clash, but that's usually more a target pick, and I don't see any of these teams being very clash heavy. But the first ban will come out from Apollo. I am expecting just a Thatcher or a Maverick. I think that is the best bet when you're on defense and attack. Those two make it really, really difficult to defend. Indeed, the Thatcher will be the first ban. So no big surprises so far. Will Karma spice things up? I'm not entirely sure. I think they'll just go for a Maverick, but this is when they'll prove me wrong. As well, we wait for the time.
Interesting ban.
And that is interesting indeed.
Karma
The
just don't want to deal with
Flores.
Flores. Our first Flores ban. Like it.
So Flores can be played a bit like a better Twitch, a bit sort of like a, I want to say sort of, yeah, basically a better Twitch, and he is still fairly new. So Karma decided we want the Maverick, we don't want to deal with any of that. The Goya being banned, that also makes sense. The amount of shield spam you can do, and particularly the basement and the Kid Storm sites, you can use that to hold pillars, just hold absurd long angles. Yeah, so you can hold pillars, you can hold freezer, you can hold attic, you can hold in dorms facing towards trophy. He's very, very good. And Mirror being banned as well does mean that Kaid is left in play, and that means we're going to see a lot of Maverick, and hopefully we can see some creative Electroclaw Electroclaw placements, not sure why I said timers, and see if anything interesting comes off that. But yeah, the Flores ban is definitely the interesting one. We haven't seen a Flores ban yet. We haven't really seen much Flores being played either. So it'll be interesting to see what he, not what he does, but what the lack of him brings. Because, I mean, if you're Karma, Matt is usually the hard breach or the droner. So, yeah, so maybe they just didn't feel comfortable playing. They didn't want to play him, and they didn't really want to play against him. But yeah, we'll have to see how that impacts things. It seems, don't know if it's just me, but rather slow getting into the pick phase.
I have paused it because we have some admin stuff that we are sorting out.
That will be why. But anyway, I suppose we can talk a bit about Oregon. But I mean, most of you all play it. Most of you probably hate it by now. But again, everyone loves to play it in comp. And yeah, so what we're expecting here is, in theory, a 4-2-3, preferably an average 4-2 defender split. But with Karma attacking, Apollo defending, I think that this could go to a 3-3 or a 4-2 to Karma. I think that for Karma, you've picked attack because you've obviously got the confidence in your attacks and the confidence that you can defeat whatever Apollo try and throw at you, and therefore that I'd expect, if they've picked attack first, for them to win at least 3 rounds. If they don't, it'll be it'll be slightly awkward, but they could be just saving their defenses for the end. But they have got attack on overtime as well, I believe. So
yeah,
technically the advantage would go for Apollo in the fact that they get one more defense round. However, I think that due to the on paper clear differences between these two teams, I think that difference will be negligible. But yeah, I am still really interested by that Flores ban. That is a funky one.
I mean, it's who banned it? It was Karma, right? So I guess they just don't want those little drones just coming in and blowing up all of their utility. They don't want to play mute, perhaps. I mean, maybe that's a part of it. They don't play mute. It's not in their team makeup, and therefore, let's just get rid of Flores, who's one of the biggest threats when mute is not on the board, I guess. I mean, I would assume that's the rationale behind it, more just because they just don't want that utility blowing up and they don't want to spend a mute to stop it from happening. I'd assume that's what it's about. It is disappointing because I'd like to see some Flores play. I want to see what people are going to do with him. I know a lot of people say he's very weak and not good. You know, you might as well bring Thatcher because he's got the EMPs, which isn't stopped by a signal jammer. He's got the same gun, so why not just bring Thatcher? But the problem is Thatcher does get banned a lot, and you can do more with Flores to a degree. Yes, you can just chuck a grenade outside of an EMP grenade outside a wall, but you can chuck a grenade outside an EMP grenade outside the wall. But the problem is that he is banned all the time, and with Flores, you can get your utility inside the building. You can get to places that you can't necessarily get an EMP grenade to. You can breach walls open. You can breach hatches open. So it's just, yeah, I think he is a good operator, and I think he can have a lot of good use in competitive.
Yeah, I think the key thing is he breaks shields, and that's why there's the Goyo ban, as well as Goyo being strong. If you don't have the Flores, you don't really have an easy way to break the hatches unless you want to use grenades and lifelines and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, I think the Flores is a bit like a backup Thatcher. You can in theory do more. He's just a little bit more riskier, and you have more. Obviously, you've got 4 drones instead of the 3 MPs, but you can get the shields. It becomes bulletproof. It's not stopped by ADSs. I think Mute is a big key weakness, and particularly without Matt playing Matt, I would say is the Mute player. I'm not 100% familiar with Bev and Razor, but looking at the rest of their team, they don't really seem. Look at the rest of the players that they are playing. Don't really seem like Mute players. It depends what role Rarity is going to be playing, because I think Rarity, he sort of was more of a flex, but ever since JPC disbanded, but when he was on that roster, he was a really good Mozzie player. So I think Mute Mozzie is something that Karma can utilize to their advantage. But yeah, this should be hopefully a good game, and it's going to give us a taste of what this new super team of Karma can really do, because I'd say that they are, I don't want to say looking the best, but I think they are on paper looking the strongest team. They've made the best additions, I would say, and they've gained more than they've lost in terms of players. But enough's enough. We are loading into picks for round number 1. It does look like it'll be basement first, so it looks like Cheetah will be filling up that support hard breach role along with Bev, and yeah, we get to see what the rest of the teams bring. But yeah, going to laundry supply first. No major surprise. You've got the Aruni, you've got shields as well, and a Mute is pretty important right now with Ayana being so prevalent, but it's going to be a Buck instead. I don't really like Buck here, just based on the fact there's not a lot you can really destroy.
There's not much vertically you can do, no.
Yeah, they're going to still. Maybe they think it's a top floor hold. They're going to send.
I think they think it's an attic play.
Yeah, that's the only reason I could see to bring Buck, because if you want to bring I mean, yeah, even if there was vertical, you'd much rather have the sledge for the grenades. So
yeah, they thought they were going to be an attic, and they were going to play down below, open up holes. That's guaranteed. That's what was being thought here by the boys on Karma.
Yeah, they just seem to have overlooked the possibility, but there's no Kaid, and that's usually a big giveaway that you may go top floor, because Kaid is really, I'd rather take a Kaid than a Mute for top floor, whereas I think on basement, Kaid can sort of be switched in and out. I mean, you've got the Aruni. What in theory is Aruni going to do on that top floor site? There's not much she can really block, whereas at least in basement she can block the hatches. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Alright, so let's take a look at the setup that we've got. We've got a fairly standard setup coming out. A lot of people are skipping this elbow hold these days. We don't see as many people doing that in this current season or the latest meta since the new season started up. So interesting to see what people are doing. Aruni has become really popular. There's 3 gates being placed strategically around the map, just giving, forcing the delays of the attack, and also forcing utility as well. We're going to have Prepsa just watching cams. Not Cams the player, but Cams, the default Cams. So, because we do have a player called Cams in here. Let's not get confused when we talk. Well, we know there's a player right there behind that wall, but of course Prepsa doesn't know that. That is Razor 2G, already in meeting with control, setting down the air jabs to try and deny any of those flanks that might come out. So Razor is going to start droning in front of him now that he's got his back covered and his front covered. You can see the rest of his team there. We've got Bev, Necra, and Cheetah all coming together. Looks like we're getting a freezer take. Now, we saw this a lot on, was it Monday when we did Oregon first, I think? We saw heavy freezer takes coming out from Athena, I believe it was. And it looks like nothing different is going to be happening here. We're getting freezer takes. Now, the old Mythic used to be coming through blue, aggressively take control of pillars, hold down what's called highway, move their way into electrical, maybe open up this wall, get in for a plant here. But we are seeing pushes this week coming down freezer, which is really interesting to see this mix-up. I do like this. It's always nice to see something different. Peter's going to take a load of damage down here on freezers. Nekwa is going to claim his first kill. That is onto Jay got booted. That is Wamai out of play, which isn't good at this point in the game because he does get stronger as the round goes on. RD9Z is going to get the refrag. He opens fire onto Razor, and he does manage to get the second, but he's going to get refragged very quickly by Bev2G, who's just made his way down the laundry staircase to support his teammates. Cheetah holding here on the top of what I think is a sink, if I remember rightly, looking through the hole in the wall, waiting for someone to show their face. Rarity's going to drone out to get the intel for his teammates, so they know exactly what to push. Slams, I'm assuming it's Slams, holding here in freezer on that Jaeger, just trying to hold back the push as Prepsa gets taken down. That smoke taken out of commission, which is huge. Plant denial, and Cams goes down as well at the hands of Bev as well, and that's the 4K for Bev. Bev not really supposed to be playing tonight, and he just comes in, gets an easy 4K on his first round. Bev's a good player. I remember seeing him sub in for, I think it was Mystic last season, and he did really well there. So this is a good start for Karma.
Yeah, really good attack. Made the most out of sort of poor positioning from Apollo. There's no way that when your Wamai was sat in pillar that he should be the first pick from a freezer main stairs push. Wamai, in theory, should be, I'd say, of that lineup, one of the last players to peek something. You should send your Jaeger and a Rooney first because they've got no utility once they've placed it down. Ideally, you don't want to lose anyone, but Wamai, at 1 minute 30 in the round, he's probably only placed down 2 or 3 of his gadget. Therefore, you know, you've not got the maximum out, and then Preps are dying quite quick. Preps are dying without using, I think using 1 smoke, 30 seconds left. Not the best, but yeah, just a really, really good attack. And it's nice to see a lot more freeze attacks. I feel like it's no longer just when you're attacking elbow, it's like since you get elbow and pillar, that's your round's done. But it doesn't really feel like that with freezer. Once you get freezer, there's still a chance for the defenders. But yeah, it's been looking good to spice things up because I think, well, I won't lie, Oregon was a bit stale, just doing the same thing over and over. But I think now the memo is, what can Apollo change in the line? They're bringing the exact same. Defenders, so obviously don't think anything. It wasn't the operator's fault they lost around, and Rarity is actually bringing the Ying this time, so they have a feeling they're going back to basement. So despite you could argue the psychological advantage, despite the psychological advantage, you could say that Apollo got the start of round 1 by maybe tricking Karma to what site they are. Karma struck back first and won the first round.
You know what? I'm wondering if if Karma were expecting a top floor hold here for the Ying, but thinking, all right, they've lost bottom floor, they're bound to go to the top floor now, right? Let's just bring Ying, just flash them out, and we'll just move our way in. We've got Ace who gets in through the wall, then we'll blind everyone and just go in, and Bev can just shoot people in the face. And oh no, they've gone downstairs again. Why would they do that? They just lost it so badly. Why would they go there again? But they have gone there again. But we have seen things mixed up. I don't think we had all of these hatches reinforced last match. I think they'd left 1 or 2 of these hatches soft in that last round. So if that is the case, it's good to see that at least something has changed up on the part of Apollo with those extra reinforcements, realizing that, hey, they're just going to bring Buck, open up the hatches, we need to reinforce them and at least slow them down a little bit this time. So they have done that, but of course Buck isn't in play, so it's kind of irrelevant this time. They do have Bev playing on the Maverick, and we've got Cheetah playing on Ace, so they can still get those hatches open, but it does use a fair bit of utility, and in the case of Maverick, a whole lot of time, because it's not quick to Maverick trick a hatch. It does take a good 20 plus seconds, I would say. I mean, I'm guessing, because it's a while since I've done it. I know it's not straightforward. Oh, Cam sees the head of the Necro and just tears it right off. Well played there to Cams. That's an unfortunate loss. Seeing Zofia go, that's a very important entry frag operator with some great utility to really disorientate. Yeah, that is the word. Disorientate Disorients, that's the word. Disorients the enemy. I knew there was something not right there, Dylan. I knew there was something not right. I was determined to get it. Jason claims his first kill, but there is a refrag as Cams does go down. He got a great first pick at the start, but didn't manage to capitalize on that as Jay does take one down himself and starts to push up that staircase like he's Pengu against Liquid. But Cheetah is ready and waiting all on his own with the AK-12, and he is now in a 1 versus 3. And Apollo, despite a disappointing first round, it looks like they are going to be able to be successful on this one. But see, this is Apollo now. This is what we expect from Apollo. They see that, oh, it's a 3 versus 1. Let's start pushing. Let's start going for those kills. They don't need to bait it and push it. But Prepsa is going to go upstairs, and with the SMG-11 at that close distance, you don't even need to aim down sights. He could just hit fired, and the chances are he would have come off better against Ace with the AK-12 and the 2.0 sight. Great round there for Apollo. It looked like they were in control for pretty much the whole round. I think Karma did the exact same thing they did the first time, as it was so successful, but this time just Apollo locked it down straight away, nipped it in the bud, got the kills they needed with those shotguns and close-up gunfights. Good round for Apollo, I feel.
The only difference that Karma took is they didn't send anybody down main stairs. They 5-man pushed Freezer. They used the hard breach gadget. They opened it up, 5-man push. And then, unfortunately for them, this time positioning was a lot better from Apollo. You could see really nice angles coming out from Cams. The smoke there from Prepsa as well, preventing any sort of push through the rotate. And then that just sort of stalled out Karma, leaving Cheetah, I think it was, all on his own in a 1 versus 3. But yeah, really good round from Apollo, a lot better. They will go to kids, and there you can see the Kaid. And I think importantly, what we see is that, yeah, that buck was picked. You just expected a top floor hold. So we expect to see Rarity go down that middle floor, open about everything up, and then see how the rest of his team can make use of the vertical that the buck makes. And Apollo, again, the only difference is bringing that Kaid instead of the mute. So we're going to probably see, as usual, a standard hold from the defenders. I'm not expecting anything special. Just see where the Aruni sort of places the Aruni gates. But yeah. So they're actually going to use 2 on Claws. Yeah, where is that? It's probably in a window somewhere.
It's over here. I can hear it over here. There we go. It's on the double.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there's a good use of utility, and right, let's see how Karma attack this one.
Yeah, we see what they really intended to do in that first round, I think. As you say, they brought out the Buck again. They know that they're not going to go to launch and supply because it's locked, so Buck is here with this top floor play. So that was a good bait from Apollo in that first round, although they still managed to lose it. But yeah, now we're seeing what Karma really wanted to do in round number 1. Let's see if they'll be able to pull it off in round number 3 and make it as successful as round number 1 was, even though they had slightly wrong operators what they wanted to do. Now, Smoke is playing upstairs. He needs to not peek these hatches or these holes in the floor quite so aggressively with the SMG-11, perhaps, because he is key for plant denial in the late game. I'd like to see him playing a little bit more outside. See, he could just go down to a skeleton here. Oh, Cams dropped through that hatch. Did he break that, or did Buck break it? I didn't hear the skeleton gears dropped. So I think that was actually Cams breaking it himself. Trying to get a cheeky drop onto Rarity, but it just didn't go in his favor, and Rarity does take him down, and that is Cams watching Cams now. That was unfortunate for him, as Bev does take down Jay and takes down another one as well. Bev doing what Bev does, getting those kills. 5 versus 2. As RD9Z goes down to Necro, leaving Slams all on his own. He is going to get that refrag. He is playing here on white stairs. He's going to get pushed by 2 players from Karma. He's going to aggressively push it as that plant's going down. Now, there's no way that Nomad is going to expect... No way he's going to expect Slams has come all the way down here. Slams going to pull out that 416. Is it the 416 or the 417? 416, right? 417's on Switch. So he pulls out that 416 and does try to take that gunfight, but he is just going to leave Nomad all on their own down there, as Nomad is going to stay below for that cover from underneath, because there will be holes in the floor by that diffuser cheekily planted in the corner. And that was a good round from Karma. There were some unfortunate moments from Apollo. The hatch drop from Cams was just an oof. But other than that, it was just a good round from Karma. They played that very, very well.
Yeah, I think Cam's hitting the hatch there. I think he tried to make some sort of rotation, but from we were spectating, perhaps it did look like he melee'd.
Yeah.
And then he did drop down just as Rarity rounded the corner, so neither of them really expecting to see each other in that spot. But valiant attempt from Stamps. Once Cam's fell, it was sort of, I mean, Karma, they saw an inch and they took a mile pretty much. Bev just running, got more kills. Dieter with a nice plant in the corner. And right now, I think Bev is playing really, really well. He did sub in for one team last season as he saved for a game, and he looked really, really good there. And he's looking really, really good here once again. So, Karma, they are looking a little bit like a one-man army. But, well, Bev has the same amount of kills as the rest of his team combined. But yeah, they are playing really well as a team. Apollo seems to be playing, I don't want to say like a five-stacking rank who have just joined together and played for the first time, because I think that's a bit too harsh. But yeah, they're not on the same wavelength as it seems Karma are. Karma seem to push together, their communication seems a lot better, and Apollo just seem very slow. They seem to, sort of that round 2, seem to capitalise on Karma's mistakes more than opportunities that Apollo created themselves. But they are going to reattain Kid's Storms. They are bringing a Valkyrie and a Legion instead of the Kaid and who was Jay playing? Well, whoever Jay was playing. Wamai. So these are the differences. We'll have to see what they do. Now, actually, seems Valkyrie's going for a little bit of a more aggressive hold right now.
Yeah, she's come downstairs for an interesting flank. Just slowly making her way through that basement. We saw someone up there on the back stairs as she was making her way around, and they don't know that she's there. RD9Z can hear the drones, can hear the air jack. So he knows that stuff is going on, and the question is, will he be able to capitalize on the fact that no one's got any clue he's here? He has a C4 in hand, so as he starts to hear stuff happening up here, he will be able to just chuck a C4 up and get an easy 2 or 3 kills perhaps if he times it just right. Really interested to see what's going to happen, but Jay got booted to get into a gunfire with Necro. I wanted to try and get to see it, but I did miss it. That's Necro taking control of Master Bedroom and Trophy now as Ace starts to open up the closet. Let's get back to that Valkyrie and see if Valkyrie is doing anything. Not just yet. We've got 3 players stacked up here. It's an easy 3K with the C4 if it goes for it. They've got no attention paid, no attention whatsoever paid to Valkyrie down below. They've got no idea she's there as Prepsa does claim 1 life. Tap the gas grenade to try and delay the push. Something gets taken out there by RD9Z. C4 is going to go up. That's going to catch Bev. So Bev is now out of commission. Well played there to RD9Z. He waited patiently. He didn't get quite as many kills as he could have done. Oh, look at that. They had a flank drone there on T2 as well. Just saw it there on the beam just looking down, but it couldn't spot RD9Z. If they'd have kept it just a floor below, they might have been able to save Bev's life. But it is what it is. RD9Z now makes his way back up to site, and he is going to chill in the dorms along with his teammates who are all up here ready and waiting for the attack. It's 3 versus 3 with 1 minute left to go on the clock. RD9Z going for that aggressive peek onto the player that is in attic with 1 player droning out. That's going to be Razor with Cheetah and Rarity just waiting for the intel to come through. Now, what I'm noticing here is that Bev and Necro are on cams, and that is almost a first for the games that we've had this week. All 3 games, it's very rare that we've seen teammates watching cams. And here we can see that Karma are doing that along with Apollo. So great team efforts coming out. Regardless of how these rounds go, we are seeing a much more intel game coming out from the defense and the attack here as Razor does get down as Cams falls to the hands of Cheetah. Plant is denied by that gas grenade. Prepsa is left all on his own in a 1 versus 2. Essentially a 1 versus 1 though, as Razor is down. He is going to get revived. Pre-fires go out through the breach. Prepsa's going to go for that kill, but Cheetah is there ready and waiting. He knows that something's going to come. He just has to watch that angle, and sure enough, Prepsa shows his little face and gets it popped right off by the AK-12. And that sees Karma go 3-1 up at the end of round number 4.
So I really like what the Valkyrie did there, because the thing was the reason she waited there for so long is because they had air jabbed the top. You couldn't safely rotate. So what I think she did is she waited till there was gunfire and there was movement, therefore that they wouldn't really be able to hear her. You got a nice kill. Getting rid of Bev early on is well, really good because of how he's performing this game. But yeah, just despite his best effort, Karma still just looking a lot better. Their attacks are a lot smoother, and they are just looking like a different team. The caliber difference is evidently quite a big gap, but yeah, the executes have been really good. Even when they're down players, they've been getting picked. Razor with some really nice kills as well, and yeah, it just seems Apollo a little bit. I kind of want to say they look a little lost at the moment. They are going to return to base now, which they won, but that was on their second attempt. And I think if we see the exact same thing coming out from the attackers, we could maybe see something different happen. There's no Rune this time, it's a Legion instead. And Jay has put himself on the smoke duty, leaving Preps at the 1 So there have been some operator swaps, but I'm going to guess the core of the strategy is going to remain the same.
Yeah, so I just brought up last season's stats for this map, and this site is actually 42% attacker favored. So it's a 50-50 win rate at the moment. So that's kind of where it should be, but it should be more defender-sided. So realistically, we should see the defensive side managing to clear up the win here. But let's see if they will be able to do it, as they are going to run pretty much the same setup that they've run before. But Prepser getting a little bit brave there with that hole in electrical, and he is going to take a whole load of damage, but he has done damage to Nekwa at the same time, so it's not a complete problem. He is going to take down one drone and send out that Magna. I think he missed the spot. I think he meant to get that out actually into blue. So an unfortunate miss there, as there is an ADS on the other side of that. If a frag grenade goes in, that's just going to blow up the Magna and the ADS at the same time. So it's not ideal for it to be there, but it is what it is. It's too late to shift it. RD9Z waiting at the bottom of laundry, waiting for someone to show their little faces. I have no idea why he plays like this. Anyway, Slams holding onto pillar, and this is a more classic hold. Oh, the grenade from Rarity comes out and just picks off Slams behind that default position on the pillar. Nicely done to him there, putting it into a 4 versus 3. They got booted, and Slams immediately start to watch cams rather than the default cams to see what he's doing. So not quite as good on the teamwork there as I called out in the previous round, but maybe there just isn't any good comes up, as Cheetah does take down Prepser, leaving just cams and RD9Z. Former, or the 2 TG teammates, as RD9Z was lots of TG in the last season, I believe. So the 2 TG teammates working together here, and RD9Z is going to get flanked. Got no idea that one player has come round. That's Rarity, but he is going to get refight by the player in Freezer. Very common position. Cams does manage to take down one on pillar. Nicely done, as he does get that pick onto Bev, who has been really fragging out for the team so far. 7-3 top fragging for Karma, as Cheetah starts to plant cams. Last Bed's down. He's going to open up that rotate a little bit bigger so he can just run his way through. Razor does get the pick with a cheeky little teabag as he does. And that is a round going to Karma. And that was a very good one for Karma.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the round, we saw a common trend for Apollo. They seem to just over-peak things at the start of the round. Yeah. I think every single basement hold, they've taken a fair bit of damage before they've even had a chance to shoot back. And their Preps, in theory, got the jump on Nekwa, and Nekwa still did more damage back. Obviously, there's a difference in guns, but I don't really see the point in going for that early aggression. Yes, there's a small chance you get the kill, but there's also a chance that you get killed back. So an interesting risk, probably not a risk I would take when at the time you're 3-1 down and score. But yeah, Karma, they've started building the momentum, and they're just looking really good. Their attacks, again, solid. Communication seems a lot better than what we're seeing from Apollo. And I think despite both these teams having new rosters, you could tell which team has played together more. And yeah, I mean, despite the fact that Karma have only 2 players playing right now that played for them in Challenger last season, whereas Apollo have 3 that played PL last season. The difference that these new additions have made is quite substantial. And I think Karma definitely are the real deal. They're definitely a top 4 team. And the people who were doubting them, they're certainly proven them wrong. Yes, this is against Apollo, who are No longer what they used to be back in around June, July time last year. But yeah, this is definitely Karma's game, and they're looking to take it 4-1 up on attack of Oregon. Is pretty good going, so it's going to be difficult for Apollo now, I think.
Yeah, they're 4-1 down. It's not terrible. They still stand a chance. But the question is, will they be able to do anything with it? What is with RD9Z? The sensitivity is nuts. So Cam's playing downstairs on site. Preps are playing here on pillar, as you would expect. Normally it'd be a Jaeger, but it is going to be Preps this time. Jacob Boots is playing Jaeger, which is a very unusual operator for him to play. He does get picked off early, which isn't unusual. Sorry, Jake, but it just isn't unusual. I feel bad. I feel guilty for saying that now. I do feel guilty. Right, RD9Z with a cheeky flank coming around here. Air jabs are going out. And there is a player just there. He sees the head. He doesn't manage to do anything about it. He does do a tiny bit of damage, but he doesn't manage to do enough to get a kill. We do see Bev going down, though. That's the top frag out. That's a kill from Prepsa. As Slams is going to get into a gunfight with Buck here on the back stairs. It's Shotty versus Shotty, but the skeleton key does cut off better. Rarity is going to finish him off, but he is going to get taken down himself by the player on pillar. That's going to be Prepsa playing on the Wamai, just blowing people up. We've got Nomad just sitting there. He sees the head of Nomad as he pokes around, but he's in just the wrong position. Stun grenades start to go out to burn those ADSs. Will it be followed by a frag? No, because there are no frags in the hands of the attack. It is just breaching charges. And one more stun grenade as Ace continues to open up that electrical wall. Preps are still holding this pillar position behind the shield. It is going to get taken down by Cheeto as he looks the wrong way. RD9Z is going to be responsible for holding this position himself now that his teammate is dead. Two players coming from the back stairs, it looks like, with one in blue. Pillar is now in control of the attack. Magnets being taken down before the air jabs go down. What is that sound? RD9Z with C4 ready to go. It's going to go out. It's going to miss the target. You can shake all you like, but it's not going to help you hit your C4s. He moves forward, getting ready for the push through blue, but it's not coming just yet. We've got Nekwa. He's not going to be making his way through here, but he is going to come round to the hole in electrical. He's going to see the head of Mozzie, but he's not going to take it off. Mozzie starts to reload. Cheetah does get that pick, leaving Cams all on his own. All of Apollo, all of us, all eyes now on Cams, waiting to see what he can do, which isn't very much. He does get a trade with Nekor, I think that was. And that is another round for Karma. And that is 6 rounds down, 5-1 lead for Karma at the end of the split.
Again, another really good attack from Karma. They get the opening pick once more. I'm trying to think. I think aside from round 2, the round Apollo 1, I don't think they've had the opening pick in any round. Actually, I think they did in round 4. But basically, a common trend now, Apollo getting caught out really early on the round. I'm not really sure how, because these guys have been playing comp, maybe not the same team, but for a while at least. And to get caught out by rookie mistakes, such as poor positioning when the attackers are starting to make their way into the building, is really surprising, especially the amount of time that everyone plays Oregon. So, yeah, it's a bit weird seeing Apollo sort of looking like a bunch of amateurs, to be honest. I mean, 5-1, and now you're attacking on Oregon after defending first. I didn't think it'd be this one-sided, and to be honest, I think it just shows how good Karma is.
I still stand by my prediction that Apollo will win 2 or 3 rounds, like I made on the predictions. It's not. I can't see them just getting the 1 round. I can see them doing better than this as they move on to attack. Maybe this is where the sun is going to start to shine on Apollo. Now that they're on attack, they seem to, like you talked about, they peak stuff. They're those kind of players, and Apollo typically has had that kind of roster. Yes, this roster is 100% different except for Jay. So, all right, let's say 99% different to the Apollo that we knew. Not last season, it's probably like 70% different to last season, but 99% different to season 1 and what we'd known Apollo to be before last season. And they've always been a fragging lineup. That's just what Jason's always gone for. He does like to play strats and whatnot, but he does seem to favor fragging players, with the exception of maybe Jess on the old lineup. She wasn't such a fragger, but the rest of them definitely you could class as fraggers. And this just, maybe this is where they're going to shine. I mean, Prepsa is going to die. It's a shotgun from Razor. So, all right, this is... I was wondering what Prepsa was doing, and now we know he was just waiting to get taken out. That was his plan. I'm sure of it. That was his plan. As RD9Z is going to scan some footprints, and he is going to find a player. Looks like it's the feet of Rarity. That is Rarity getting scanned, but that is going to die very quickly because it's old footprints. As Razor does finally fall to Jay, got booted. Jay managing to get some more kills to his name. I think that's his first kill since round number 2, where he managed to get a 3K, I believe, in that round in Apollo 1. Apollo did look good on that second round, but I'm starting to wonder if it was Apollo looking good of their own accord, or Karma just making Apollo look good. Now, Jay comes face to face with the Saria gate. He looks at it, thinks, what shall I do? What can I do? And he throws the drone right into it as he has no stun grenades left. So that's one bit of intel lost for his team. I'd like to have seen maybe... Actually, there isn't really much utility on any of the other players. Rarity does get 2 quick picks. 2 versus 2 now as Jay got booted is ridiculously low on health. He is the last man standing, and Rarity standing up there on Hatch is going to get the 3K, and I'm guessing all 3 of those kills were up there from this Hatch, which is something we saw Harinderpool do to Vanquish last season, where he went uncontested up there and just managed to get pick after pick after pick. 4 times, in fact, he managed to do that, and it looked like it wasn't that different right there for Rarity, as he does manage to walk away from that round with 3 kills to his name and putting Karma onto match point.
So I think the biggest difference from that one round of Karma's defense compared to all of Apollo's defenses is that Karma actually used the map. We actually saw Rarity roaming compared to before on Apollo. They mostly just sat 5 players on/near site, and to me that sort of suggests that they're not really feeling that confident in their communication just yet. They want to play it safe and hope that they can win out on gunfights at the end and refrag each other. And because they're giving up pretty much all map pressure on their defenses, they've seemed to have slipped into the mentality that it's going to be unlikely for Karma to do the same. They pretty much neglected the top 2 floors, and then, as you said, Rarity just sat Hatch, gets a nice cheeky triple, and by the end of the day, Apollo can't really do anything. I'd like to see them bring a little bit more throwable utility because of the arena gates are just that annoying. It's never good when you have to throw your drone in, especially when you were running low on drones at the time. It's not exactly the best feeling when you're an attacker and you're already got poor intel. So they're bringing the Twitch this time as an attempt to sort of hopefully mix things up so they can bring some more things. But again, they brought 4 smokes and 2 flags, and I would rather keep those than say a stun grenade. I think flags are of course very important. Smokes are really good for your plant denial, for your supporting the plant, but yeah, it just seems Apollo very shaky this first game of the season, and I think that obviously if they can't get it together soon, it's going to be a Karma win. And I think that although Karma have a lot of JPC members on who are famed for overpeaking, they've all learned since those times, and I think that they definitely have the strength right now to end it at 7-1, but it's up to Apollo now.
Yeah, Apollo not really achieving much here. It's a big deficit to come back from. It's being 5 points down. So yeah, this is going to be a tough one for Apollo. RD9Z is going to be downstairs looking for those footprints. This is where he likes to play as Valkyrie, so I guess he is just a basement player. Cams are going to chuck in that little Twitch drone to see what he can do. RD9Z does manage to take down Cheetah. That's a nice pick for him there. That's the Aruni out of play. What was she doing downstairs though? That's the question. Smoke grenade is going to go out as RD9Z does make his way around, but Rarity is going to take him down, just pre-firing through that smoke, through the hatch. So great play there from Rarity. C4 goes off and he does claim another life. Prepsa is out. Slams and Jay got booted are the last 2 standing. Will they be able to do anything here? You know what? I'm thinking this is it. Slams is the last man. This is the point where Apollo typically just quit out of the game. Or the old Apollo did at least. All of them watching Slams now, trying to work out, or just trying to watch him 4K to greatness here and clutch this back. He's going to see the header 1 over there through the hole in the wall, but he's not going to be able to do any damage whatsoever. Going to drop down. He sees that Mozzie is just down there in that window. He opens fire, but he does no damage to Rarity either. Slam's just unable to slam anything. As he comes down to Laundry, he's going to push that Mozzie, but Mozzie knows something's coming. And again, we end with a trade as Rarity does get the kill. And that's it. That's a 7-1. That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting Apollo to do better than that. I will be honest. I was expecting better.
Yeah. It's tough to say because Armor came out swinging, and they've definitely proven that they are really strong. I mean, Rarity and Mozzie, name a better duo. Whenever Rarity gets Mozzie, everything looks good for the team he's on, and they're showing 12 and 6.